Welcome back, students. This is Module 2.3.1, Introduction to Cellular Respiration. Previously in this unit, we've introduced you to cells, the basic unit of life, and we have been discussing some of the functions that cells fulfill. For example, our last topic was cell transportation. And today we're going to look at cellular respiration. This is an activity which all cells perform. If we look at our little screen with our little animation, wow, very impressive. I want you to think of the term respiration. It's a word that you've definitely heard before, and for most people, they think of breathing, perhaps in an emergency room or on some hospital show, where really respiration is breathing. And they're talking about the ventilation of the respiratory organs, as for example, how many times per minute you breathe. Cellular respiration is quite different than that, but it is somewhat related. And one of our goals for you in this lecture is at the end of the lecture, you will be able to explain or to answer the question, why do we breathe? Before we get into the heart of the lecture, we have a little bit of a tangent. I want to talk to you about Richard Leakey. Richard Leakey was a son of Louis and Mary Leakey. Louis Leakey was a famous paleoanthropologist, as was Mary Leakey in her own right. Louis discovered some of the early human ancestors, fossils of early human ancestors. Mary Leakey discovered some ancient footprints, very famous. And Richard Leakey was raised in the African bush. He didn't have a real standard education, but nevertheless he was very well educated. When he was a young man, perhaps the age of many of the students in this class, he was feeling his oats, and he was in a bar in Nairobi, Kenya, a smoky bar, and he made a bet, and perhaps that was a rash bet. He said that he could capture a gazelle among the fleetest of the African ungulates, an ungulate being a hoofed mammal, without using any weapons, tools, or vehicles, just him on the ground with the animal. Now, I could tell you what happened in that bet, but I don't think you're ready to learn this yet. You need to have a little bit of education. So that will be our goal, to educate you enough to explain why we breathe and also to appreciate the outcome of Richard Leakey's bet. By the way, here's that smoky bar. Okay, it's not that smoky bar, but it's a smoky bar. And speaking of smoky bars, okay, that's Smokey Bear, no relation. Don't get confused. And by the way, here is a gazelle, and he has something to tell you. Yes, he is as fast as he looks. Okay, now back on track. I have posted a bunch of photographs of different organisms for you to view. I want you to view them and enjoy the beauty of the organism, but also to understand why these pictures are being shown. And that is, what do they have in common? That's what I really want you to consider, the commonality that these organisms have. Certainly, they're all made of cells, they all use cellular transport, and they all use cellular respiration. And so they have in common some of these metabolic pathways of cellular respiration. So animals as diverse as a coyote, a king snake, mushroom. These are boletes, a particular kind of mushroom. Here is something that you have seen in the cells lab. The plant Elodea is seen under a microscope, so you can actually see the cells. Here's a south view of a north-bound okapi, a relative of a giraffe that lives in forests. Here is a vermilion flycatcher, one of the birds of the Southwest that people come from all over to come birding here in Cochise County. Here's a viperfish, one of the fishes of the abyss, lives in deep water and has the capacity to really take larger prey. Here is a natural bonsai. Of course, it's not a bonsai. It's just a pine tree that's growing in a stunted way because of its environmental conditions. But bonsai mimics such tree, the Japanese art of tree miniaturization. And here is a peregrine falcon, among the fastest of all birds. A peregrine falcon can dive when in pursuit of prey. They call the dive of a falcon is called a stoop. And when they stoop at over 200 miles an hour, and they strike their prey. They used to think that the falcon struck with a closed fist, but they know now it hits with the palm of its foot, to just the base of its foot. And then these are masterful birds in the air, though they can really fly. And the point of all these photographs was that these organisms, and all the others that I didn't show, are similar in the basic way that their cells harvest energy from food. And this commonality of cellular respiration pathways is, together with the other evidences, including cellular structure and DNA, this is strong evidence of the relatedness of all life on Earth. And before we close this module, we want to just talk about chemical reactions and chemical pathways inside of organisms. They are part of the process of metabolism. This is a broad category, and metabolism is defined as all of the chemical reactions in living organisms. And so certainly cellular respiration is a subset of metabolism. Metabolism may in turn be broken into two branches, catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism are energy releasing pathways that break down nutrient molecules. So they're breaking bonds and releasing energy. That's a catabolic reactions, which make up catabolism. And the energy released from such reactions provides the energy needed to drive the anabolic reactions of growth, maintenance, reproduction, other forms of cellular work. So in other words, life is powered by energy released by catabolism. Now, sometimes we have energy that we've obtained and we need to build chemical bonds, and these reactions fall under the branch of metabolism known as anabolism. So anabolic reactions, these are energy requiring reactions that synthesize or build molecules. They're making chemical bonds. And remember, a chemical bond has energy in it, so it requires an input of energy here. And these provide for growth and repair. And a good way to, in biology, we often give you paired terms. And here's a pair of terms: catabolism, anabolism, catabolic, anabolic. How can you remember which one's building and one's tearing down? If you can remember the term anabolic steroids, that's a term that's been bantered about in the news a bit, and steroids, of course, are used for building muscles. So anabolic reactions build chemical bonds. So that's a way you can remember between the two. In any case, that will conclude this module, and we will continue later.